Announce the capture of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitive, Yasar Said, who murdered his two daughters in January of 2008. Irving Police Chief Jeff Spivey will speak, followed by representatives from the Federal Bureau of Investigations. If everybody can save their questions until after all have spoken, we'll make sure that everybody gets those answered.
Thank you and good evening. January 1st of 2008, Irving police dispatchers received a 911 call from a female at an unknown location who was in obvious distress. After approximately 1 hour of trying to locate this 911 caller, we received an additional 911 call reporting two females bleeding inside a taxi cab in the 200 block of East Las Colinas Boulevard. This was the beginning of the murder investigation of Amina and Sarah Said. Our investigation quickly led for us to suspect that their father, Yasar Said, was the person responsible for their brutal murder. For the past 12 years, we have tirelessly followed every lead, never losing faith or hope that we would one day locate and arrest Yasar Said. Through retirements, promotions, transfers, dead ends, starts and stops, the Irving Police Department never gave up. Tonight, I stand before you to announce all of that hard work paid off. Our partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Dallas Field Office, provided us a level of support that would be unmatched across the country. They were the key to us being able to arrest Yasar Said for the murder of his two daughters. I want to express my appreciation to Special Agent in Charge Matt DeSarno and his team. This is a good day for law enforcement. This is one of the days that make this difficult job really pay off. Matt.
Thanks, Jeff. Good evening. My name is Matt DeSarno. I'm the Special Agent in Charge of FBI Dallas. Just a couple hours ago, the FBI SWAT team arrested Yasar Said in Justin, Texas, without incident. This arrest, as Chief Spivey has said, is a great day for law enforcement. The Dallas Violent Crime Task Force and the Irving Police have tirelessly, aggressively, and without pause followed every lead across the globe looking for this top 10 most wanted fugitive. I can't overstate how proud I am of the work of the investigators. This case was solved by good old-fashioned, aggressive, initiative-based police work. We had an agent who was originally on this case postpone their retirement for multiple years in an effort to find Said. For her and many others, today is a good day. But most importantly, what drove those investigators from the Irving Police Department, from the FBI task force that includes other local police departments, to continue to look under every rock and chase every lead was to get justice for Amina and Sarah. Along with this operation, we've arrested two relatives of Said. They're going to be charged with harboring in the Northern District of Texas. We are still seeking information from the public of others who may have provided aid and comfort to Said over the last 12 years. We had a $100,000 reward on Said. He was on the top 10 list since December of 2014. So we do expect that there are others who provided aid and comfort to this fugitive for a long period of time. So that's our ask to the public. But again, I want to leave you with this. I am immensely proud of the work of the Violent Crimes Task Force and the Irving Police Department. This is not uncommon. My folks and Jeff's folks work very hard every day to get justice for victims and protect the public. And today we did just that. So I think we'll take a couple questions.
I got one. You say he was found in Justin, Texas. That's not too far from here, I don't believe, is it?
That is not far from here, correct.
Where has he been? Has he been in the DFW area all this time?
So part of the ongoing investigation is to try to determine that. We have chased leads throughout the country. We've worked with other local departments following leads, and we have followed leads internationally to include in Egypt. So we have had information throughout this investigation that he's been in multiple places. We don't know right now how long he was in Justin, but we do know that he's not there anymore.
Was there any other cities in the DFW area that you think he was in and he left? And you
We're continuing to try to get to the bottom of that. But our most significant priority now, though, is the prosecution for the capital murder of his daughters. But in that process, obviously, it's of significant interest to us as to where he was at what times, because that could help us also look for other folks who may be able to be charged with harboring this fugitive.
You've constantly gotten tips about this case. What was it that led you to Justin and the capture in the end?
So thanks for that question. So the FBI's top 10 most wanted list just celebrated its 70th birthday in March. The whole purpose behind that is to drive public awareness, to bring tips in from the public. About half of the people captured on that list, or maybe a third of the people we've captured over the 70 years on that list, have been a direct result of public assistance. In this instance, we did not receive a tip to that location, but we are still seeking the assistance from public. What led us there was good old-fashioned aggressive police work. Relooking at every possible angle of a case and working it day and night until we found him.
You said he was found in Justin and that two relatives were also arrested. Was that a home of those relatives, or are they connected to some previous location?
We arrested the relatives at a separate location in Euless, Texas tonight.
Can you talk about that network of his family members? Exactly how were they able to keep him, his location, a secret over the past 12 years? That network in general.
Yeah, I mean, that is specifically part of our ongoing investigation. We're certainly interested in that, and we're interested in that because we'd like to hold more people accountable for that. But right now, I'm not prepared to speak about that. Thank you.
Established a motive? Looking at our notes from back when this was initially covered, we heard the phrase honor killing, that maybe his daughters had, in his eyes, came to Americanize. Can you talk a little bit more about if there is a motive that you know now?
I don't know how you can use the term honor and killing in this instance. This man brutally murdered, shot to death, his two daughters in his taxi cab. What led him to do that, I think at this point to us, is irrelevant. The fact that he murdered his two daughters, the fact that he's been on the run for 12 years, and the fact that tonight his flight from justice ended and justice for Amina and Sarah begins. That's what's most important to us.
Is he going to be in federal custody, or is he going to be in custody of the sheriff's department now that he's arrested? And will he face a bond?
So I won't address the bond. Right now, he is in federal custody. We had opened an unlawful flight to avoid prosecution case on him, charged him with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. So he will be arraigned on those charges, then moved to face the Irving-based state charges. So the relatives that we arrested today, and there, more will come out in the days ahead via complaint that you could pull. It's Islam Said, his son, and Yasim Said, his brother. Islam, common, Said, S-A-I-D. Yasim, Y-A-S-S-I-M, I believe, Said.
Where are those two individuals being held at?
Those two individuals are in our custody right now. They're going to be charged in the Northern District of Texas. Yep.
So what was his demeanor when you guys, took him into custody? Was he relieved?
He was arrested without incident. On the scene, he didn't speak on the scene, didn't really have anything to say, and he was compliant and quiet.
Can you say how you found out? Can you reveal how you had tips that he was in Justin? I mean, how did you lead? What led you to believe he was in Justin?
So I'm not going to go to the details of the investigation. I'll characterize it as it did not come from an outside tip. It was rigorous investigative work on the part of my investigators and Jeff's detectives.
Was that an area you guys maybe had your eyes on for quite some time and just weren't able to, narrow down exactly where he was at? Or I guess when did you?
No, this investigation over the last 12 years, we've followed leads throughout the country, throughout this area, and across the globe.
You said you suspect that there's more people involved. Do you have any leads at this point?
No,
That you might have been harboring?
no. Right now, that's what we're looking for the public's additional assistance on. If they have any information about his whereabouts and who may have also been harboring him or providing aid and comfort to him over the last 12 years, we're certainly interested in getting that at the FBI.
Did you hear from any other family members, once they found out he was arrested, any other family members who appreciated the work? Have you heard from anybody else, or just this a family that you got arrested?
We just arrested him 2 hours ago, and then came here, so I haven't heard from anybody yet. No. No, I don't know their age. It's a son and a brother. It's his brother and his son, but I'm not sure their age.
Did he physically still look the same, or was he obviously trying to hide his identity?
For the agents familiar with the case who had been working on the case, it was an easy positive ID by facial recognition with their own eyes. It was clearly looked like him.
Some family friends have believed this whole time that, hey, he was always going to stay in DFW, had this network of family members and friends that were keeping him. They're going to ask, I guess if he was always here, what took so long? Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And I think what's important from my perspective is that, we don't know right now if he was always here. We have reason to believe that some of the information that we have chased in the past, both locally and elsewhere, was viable and we missed him. But the reality is there was $100,000 reward for information leading to his capture. And we didn't, that did not lead to his capture. So if he's been in this area and for that long, then obviously nobody gave him up, right? But we have been working it for 12 years straight, aggressively, proactively, using innovative techniques, doing everything we can do. And today we found him, so we're happy about that. I know it wasn't a tip that led to the arrest, but you guys have stayed after it. People have kept bringing in tips. I know, I'm sure everybody here has kept covering it. How much did keeping it in the limelight help at all during this investigation? I think it helped a great deal. I mean, the tips that we did get that did not result in his capture, certainly some of them, and progressed the investigation, helped us with some insight into some of the things that you asked about with regards to his possible whereabouts and some of the things about potential networks. So the tips are always welcome. We do get a lot of really good tips. And in this instance, again, we're looking for help with finding others who may have provided aid and comfort.
Do you know if he changed his name and got a different job?
So all that will be continuing part of our fugitive investigation. We have chased leads that include lots of different, information. So we're going to be trying to work through that and identify where he's been and who's been helping him.
You guys are releasing a mugshot anytime soon, and where will we be able to find it?
There will likely be a mugshot tomorrow. There's a couple press releases that have gone out this evening, and then the other information, the federal court information, should be on Pacer tomorrow. Yep. Okay. In closing, I'd just like to say again, I'm really proud of the effort of my folks, and I know Jeff is too. The intense partnership that we've experienced through this case in the last 12 years has led us to many other law enforcement successes as a partnership between Irving and the FBI. And we continue this to be another, we consider this to be another really good day for us. And we're happy that we're able to bring some measure of justice to Amina and Sarah in this case. So thanks.
Okay, in closing, once again, this is a good day in law enforcement, like Chief Spivey said. If anybody has any follow-ups as far as the mugshots or the PC affidavits that will go to county court, then obviously you can email like the normal process that the police PIO at cityofirving.org. Thank y'all this evening. Have a good night.
Wow. That was live. Hold on.
Finished version. We do have that available as well. When you're ready, go ahead and come on up, sir.
Okay, so they're going to go ahead and repeat everything in Spanish. So basically, what you just heard was the news conference of FBI, Irving Police. that have announced after a 12-year search, Yasar Said has been caught for the murder of his two daughters, ages 17 and 18. He shot them in Irving. They were from Lewisville, Texas. He actually shot them in Irving in the back of his car. He was one of those types. He was of the Muslim religion, and he was a very strict Muslim. I know there is a name for, for certain fractions in the Muslim religion, but I do not know what fraction that he was. And they were beautiful. Matter of fact, let me show you a picture of these beautiful girls. They were beautiful. They went to Lewisville High School. And it is so crazy because I lived in Lewisville when this happened. Shit, kind of got a bitch choked up a little, got a bitch choked up. This was his daughters, as you can see here. Let me see if I can open up the actual photo. Nope. Actually, let me try it this way. Yeah. As you can see, that's them. Those two young ladies, they were students at Lewisville High School in Lewisville, Texas. Now, if you don't know anything about Dallas, Dallas is, a very sprawling city, and we have a ton of suburbs, okay? It's like, honestly, you don't even realize the difference when you're going from suburb to suburb. Like, it all looks the same, essentially, you've got Dallas, and then of course Lewisville is a suburb, Irving is a suburb, and what he did is he, for some reason, committed this murder in Irving. So that is why the Irving police are running the investigation and have been running the investigation. One second. I hate that when that happens, when a commercial pops up like that and you have the volume up. All right, so Amina was 18 years old, Sarah was 17 years old, and he basically took them for a ride in his taxi on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2008. He said he was going to take them to get something to eat. He drove them to Irving, and then he shot both of them inside of the taxi cab. Both of the girls, and there's another picture of Sarah and Amina from their Facebook page. I mean, this guy was strict. He was trying to arrange their marriages, for one. Like, it was the really strict Muslim religion. I don't know why he was in America and living in a Western country if he was going to be so strict on these girls. So basically, he killed them because he claimed he had to preserve the family's honor. And when this happened, I remember there being, counselors up at the school. It was shocking. It was shocking when this happened. So he was upset with them regarding their teenage behavior and their relationships as teenagers. And the Irving Police Department, like I said, has been involved. The FBI out of Dallas, and they have actively pursued justice for these girls. They've been looking for Yasar Abdul Said for, like I said, 12 years. He's been on the run for 12 years. Now listen, they found him in Justin, Texas. Justin is a hop, skip, and a jump away from Lewisville. Okay. Now, a year ago, there was a report that came out in the news, in the local news, that said Yasar Said may still be in the Northeast Texas area. There was obviously something to that. Now, they arrested his brother and his son as well. So they are under arrest for harboring a fugitive. And he is obviously under arrest. Now, he's under federal arrest. So he's on his way to Sherman. He's on his way to Sherman, Texas. That's where the federal jail is for Northeast Texas. It was January 2nd, 2008, when a capital murder multiple warrant was issued for his arrest. And in Texas, capital murder is like the utmost murder offense. It's considered a first degree, like premeditation. That's what a capital murder charge is. It is the big one. It is one that'll get you not numbers, but letters. You'll be spending letters in prison. You know, life or death. A charge like this, the prosecution could have very well went for the death penalty in this case. And honestly, it probably most likely would have. Now, what's going to be interesting, now he's being held right on August 21st, 2008, a federal unlawful flight to avoid prosecution warrant was issued. Now they're holding him on that right now, but I'm curious what's going to happen. Are they going to bring him back to Irving for trial? He's been on the 10 most wanted list for like 6 years now. And to think that they arrested, right? They arrested the son and the brother. Okay, brother, okay, but son? Doesn't that mean those were his sisters? Let me show you his FBI flyer. This is his FBI flyer. They've already updated it to say captured. This is his poster. It keeps opening in other tabs. This is the poster. They thought for the longest time he was in Egypt. They thought there's been a lot of talk about him, having left the United States and went to Egypt or some other country. He frequents Denny's and IHOP restaurants, smokes Marlboro Lights, has ties to New York, Texas, Virginia, Canada, and Egypt, loves dogs. I mean, this was his flyer. This was his flyer. And it is now updated. He has now been taken off the list. There was a $100,000 reward leading to his arrest. I really want to know how they got him. There's been multiple documentaries made regarding this this case. It's now hit CNN. But I want to show you. I want you to hear some audio from the day that this actually happened. Okay. Now this is where this gets kind of sad here, because we can talk about him being captured and all of that, but the day that this happened, a 911 call was made. Okay. It was his daughter. And I want you to hear this because this brings back, not only the memories of that, but it over time, fugitives and people that have killed others, it becomes like a numb type of thing. So it's good to remind people why this person has been arrested and why they need to be prosecuted. And I would not be against the death penalty in a case like this. I don't want to go into my stance on the death penalty or anything like that, but you know, I want you to watch this. The captions are on the screen, and I want you to listen. This is the call that was made by the girls when the father committed this crime and shot them. They tried to call 911 to get help. I'm talking about the children, these two girls, Sarah and Amina, 17 and 18, the daughters of Yasser Said, who has now been, after 12 years on the FBI's 10 most wanted, has now been captured. This is the 911 call from that day.
What's going on, man?
I'm dying, that's what's up.
Irving Fire Department. Ma'am, are you still there? Ma'am, are you still there? All I got is she's telling me she's dying. I've got a, why are you still there, ma'am? Ma'am, what is your address? Ma'am.
The cab in our cab stand. Doesn't appear that there's a driver, but there are two people inside the cab, one in the passenger seat and one in the rear of the vehicle. One of the people in the passenger seat looks like she's hunched over and she has blood coming from her ear. It doesn't look like they're alive to me.
I understand that. We've got our
All right. That's a real hard 911 call to hear, you know what I'm saying? It is. It's a hard 911 call to hear because you can hear the fear in her voice and you can hear her say, I'm dying. I'm dying. My dad killed me. My dad tried to kill me. You do hear that at the very beginning of the call. And I'm so grateful that in a situation like that, if I can not ever imagine, but she made sure once that 911 call operator answered that phone to blurt all of that out because she knew she was dying. She made sure to tell them, my daddy tried to kill me. I'm going to play this one more time. Listen at the very beginning. It happens as soon as the call starts.
What's going on, ma'am?
I'm dying, that's what's up.
Irving Fire Department. Ma'am, are you still there? Ma'am, are you still there? All I got is she's telling me she's dying. I've got a, why are you still there, ma'am? Ma'am, what is your address?
Now, that's the call. And you could hear, you guys, I said, you heard at the very beginning, she said, my dad shot me and my sister. I'm dying. Her dying words on that 911 call will be used as evidence in his trial. Now, the other portion that you heard was another person, a third person who actually found them and seen them in the car after this incident happened. And then he called 911. And this is his 911 call.
Ma'am.
The cab in our cab stand. Doesn't appear that there's a driver, but there are two people inside the cab, one in the passenger seat and one in the rear of the vehicle. One of the people in the passenger seat looks like she's hunched over and she has blood coming from her ear. It doesn't look like they're alive to me.
I understand that. We've got our
Okay. Enough of that. Enough of that. Rest in peace to Amina and Sarah Said. And I am really glad to see this day. If you search Yasser Said in YouTube, you'll find a ton of documentaries about this case. And it's so crazy to me that it actually literally happened in a town that I lived in. And it happened during that time. When it happened, I actually was living there. So it is a case that I have absolutely paid attention to, since it happened. And I wanted to announce to everybody that they got him. They got him. Now, like I said, there was a report about a year ago that Yasar Said may possibly be in Northeast Texas. This was a report that was put out. Let me show you a news report from our local news that talks about this.
This case shocked and horrified a lot of people here in our area. A father accused of murdering his daughters in a so-called honor killing. 11 years later, police think he may be hiding out in North Texas. And this is a picture of Yasar Said from 13 years ago in 2006. And an age-progressed photo shows what he might look like now. The videos you're about to see show the twisted control he tried to exert on his girls' lives, and some are a bit unsettling. They give you a window into their world. Rebecca Lopez has this WFAA original.
Get out! I'm erasing this tape.
No, you can't.
Yes, I will.
Are you drunk?
This is illegal. Do I videotape you when you're sleeping?
Hey, Yaser.
These are videos that have rarely been seen.
Wow, look at his eyes. I put my eye on you.
I'm gonna get sick now.
This is Yasar Said
Okay, turn it off, Dad.
with his teenage daughters, Amina and Sarah.
He followed them everywhere and he recorded their every move.
Here, he's keeping an eerie watch on Sarah at work.
She smiled to the customer.
Bella, she has to. Part of her job.
She's in trouble.
But problems with their dad went back years. When they were younger, the girls told police he was sexually abusing them. This is him again behind the camera.
Nice legs. I got this. Take this blanket from this one in the back.
No!
Go.
Get away!
Take-
No!
The girls told police they were scared of what he might do one day.
Tell me that's not the brother.
Here's the other one.
Ruth Trotter's son Joseph was dating Amina.
I knew the fear and threat was real all the time. I mean, she told us all the time that her dad would kill her.
Finally, in December 2007, their mother, Patricia, decided it was time to take her daughters and leave Said. The girls and their mother hid in Oklahoma for a few days. But then on New Year's Eve 2007, Patricia went back to Said. Amina begged not to go.
Amina said she was never going back.
But Patricia insisted. On January 1st, 2007, Said forced the girls to go with him to dinner alone. Police say he drove them in a taxi cab he was borrowing from a friend to the Omni Hotel in Irving and shot his daughters. Amina was shot twice in the chest. Sarah, the younger daughter, in the back seat, was shot 9 times. Sarah managed to call 911 for help. She names her father as her killer.
What's going on, ma'am?
I'm dying, that's what's up.
You hear her last breath. She was fighting till the very end.
After that call, there was a frantic search for the girls. But technology was limited and the phone couldn't be traced. Police drove up and down the streets, searching for more than an hour.
Having 911, search, what's your emergency?
But then another 911 call. A cab driver at the Omni reported seeing 2 girls in a taxi slumped over and possibly dead.
If she has blood coming from her ear.
Detective Curtis believes Said did not want the girls dating outside the Muslim faith.
I think that frustrated him, and he couldn't handle that, and I think that's why he ultimately decided to kill them.
It's called an honor killing. Said is now on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, but despite thousands of tips and a $100,000 reward, he is still out there. Authorities want the public to remember this man and his daughters.
He can't hide forever, so somebody needs to speak up for them. They need justice.
Police in North Texas want the region to be alert because Said still has connections here and say family and friends could be helping him hide. They said Said likes Denny's and IHOP restaurants. He's a smoker and may still be driving a cab. Just one tip could bring a suspected child killer to justice. In Irving, I'm Rebecca Lopez.
I've covered a lot of horrible stories. That ranks right up there with one of the most disturbing. Again, the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for any tips that lead to Said's arrest.
Yeah, today is a very, very, very good day. Very good day. It is for me. It's nice to see this man captured and that he didn't get away with what he did to his daughters. So that's why I wanted to come live, and I wanted to let everybody know that Yasser Abdul Said has been captured. He formerly on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list for the murder of his two daughters, Sarah and Amina, 17 and 18 years old. He is now in custody. He is now in custody. Until next time, guys.